The zombie. It's a monster that has haunted our nightmares for over a century. We've seen them in movies, read about them in comics, and killed them by the thousands in video games. We feel like we know them. Slow, groaning, relentless. But what if they were real? What if tomorrow the first reports started trickling in? This isn't a movie. There are no heroes with plot armor. This is what would actually happen if the world woke up to a zombie apocalypse. Hello and welcome to the channel. Today we're diving into a scenario that's both terrifying and fascinating. To understand the zombie apocalypse, we need to break it down. We'll look at the first 72 hours, the first few weeks, and the long, uncertain years that would follow. Part 1. The spark. The first 72 hours. It wouldn't start with a global announcement. It would start small and confusing. A news report from a foreign country about a new aggressive pathogen that causes extreme psychosis. A bizarre incident on a city subway that goes viral, showing a person inexplicably attacking others, shrugging off attempts to subdue them. The first cases would be dismissed as isolated. Tragic events, a new designer drug, a mental health crisis, a rare neurological disorder. Governments and global health organizations, like the CDC and WHO, would be the first to notice a pattern, but the data would be a nightmare to interpret. Victims are reported dead at the scene, but then their bodies disappear from makeshift morgues. They're violent, unresponsive to pain, and their blood work shows massive, unexplainable cell necrosis alongside unprecedented adrenal activity. They are driven by a single terrifying impulse to attack and bite. The first major hurdle is disbelief. In our modern world, the idea of the dead rising is pure fiction. Official statements would be cautious, vague, and designed to prevent panic. They'd call it a virulent neurological pathogen or an unprecedented contagion. They would urge calm and issue quarantine orders for affected city blocks, treating it like a standard outbreak. But here's the first catastrophic failure. A traditional quarantine is useless. A person gets bitten on their arm during the chaos. Their first instinct is not to report it. It's to run. They get in their car, desperate to get home to their family, convinced they just need to clean the wound. They feel sick, feverish. They lie down. And then they change. In doing so, they've jumped the quarantine line and created a new infection cluster in a quiet suburban neighborhood. Every infected person who isn't immediately neutralized creates more. It's exponential growth at its most terrifying. Within 72 hours, the situation would spiral out of control in every major metropolitan area on the planet. Emergency services would collapse. For every police officer or paramedic sent into a hot zone, there's a high risk they become a victim, and then a new attacker in uniform, adding to the confusion. The military would be called in, but this presents a horrifying dilemma. These aren't foreign soldiers. They are your neighbors, your family members, your fellow citizens. The psychological toll on soldiers forced to fire on what looked like civilians, even zombified ones, would be immense, leading to hesitation, insubordination, and a breakdown in the chain of command. Part 2. The fall, the first 3 weeks. As the infection burns through the population, the complex interconnected systems that run our world would begin to shatter. First, the global supply chain. It operates on a just-in-time delivery model. There are no vast stockpiles. The trucks stop running because the drivers are gone or the roads are blocked. The ships are stranded at sea or stuck in ports. The automated warehouses grind to a halt. Within a week, the shelves of every grocery store would be stripped bare. The last cans of food would become objects of violent conflict. Then the power grid. Power plants, especially nuclear ones, require constant human supervision and maintenance. Without it, automated safety systems would initiate shutdowns. One plant going offline would strain the rest of the grid, causing a cascading failure. Within a few weeks, the world would go dark. Imagine your life right now with no electricity, no running water from the pumps, no refrigeration, and no internet. That would be the new, silent, and terrifying reality for everyone. This is the stage of the Great Panic. The realization that help is not coming would trigger a mass exodus from the cities. This wouldn't be an orderly evacuation. It would be a desperate, chaotic flight. Highways would become parking lots, stretching for hundreds of miles. These gridlocks would become death traps. A single infected person could walk from car to car, and the trapped, helpless people would have nowhere to run. The weak, the elderly, and those with medical needs would be the first to perish. Rural areas, initially safer due to lower population density, would suddenly face a new threat: millions of desperate, starving and often armed refugees from the cities. Small-town sheriffs and local communities, already struggling to deal with their own infected, would be faced with an impossible choice: try to help the flood of newcomers and risk being completely overrun, or turn them away, becoming isolated, distrustful fortresses. This is where the second war, human versus human, would begin. Part 3, The New World, months to years later. If you survived the initial outbreak, the collapse, and the Great Panic, congratulations. Your life is now a daily, grueling struggle for survival. The world has changed forever. The zombies themselves are a persistent but perhaps evolving threat. Contrary to movies, a human body, even an undead one, decomposes, exposed to the elements, sun, rain, snow, and heat, and preyed upon by animals that learn they are easy, non-resisting targets. The average zombie would likely only be a major ambulatory threat for a year or two. But they wouldn't just vanish. In dry climates, you might get desiccated walkers, brittle but fast. In wet, humid areas, you'd have bloaters, rotted, fungal-covered, and dangerously fragile. The threat changes, but it never disappears. The real danger, as is so often the case, would be other people. Humanity would fracture into countless small enclaves. You would see fortified towns, where a council tries to maintain a semblance of pre-fall democracy. You would see rural communes, where groups of families work together to farm and defend their land. And you would see nomadic bandit clans, roving warlords who take what they want through violence, controlling vital resources like a dam for power or a refinery for fuel. Your old life and skills would be meaningless. Being a lawyer or a programmer means nothing now. Can you farm? Can you purify water? Can you fix a simple engine? Do you have medical training? Can you build a wall, hunt for food, or fight? These are the new currencies in the economy of survival. Trade would re-emerge, but it would be a dangerous barter system. A canister of gasoline or a bottle of antibiotics would be worth more than gold. Groups would clash over a single patch of fertile land or a half-looted pharmacy. Trust would be the rarest and most valuable commodity of all, but it wouldn't be all doom and gloom. In these small, isolated communities, you'd see the best of humanity emerge from the ashes. People would work together, innovate, and rediscover lost knowledge. With the internet gone, physical books in a surviving library would become priceless artifacts. People would teach their children how to read from weathered paperbacks, how to plant crops, how to build a future from the scraps of the old world. Small pockets of civilization would begin the long, slow process of reconnecting, perhaps using old shortwave radios to find other survivors, their voices crackling across the empty miles, proving that humanity was still alive. Conclusion, so, what would actually happen in a zombie apocalypse? A swift, brutal, and total collapse of the world we know, followed by a long, hard, and bloody fight to build something new. It reveals a chilling truth. Our modern civilization, for all its technological marvels, is an incredibly fragile machine that needs every single part working in perfect harmony. The ultimate lesson of the zombie apocalypse isn't about how to fight monsters. It's about what we do when the lights go out, the shelves are empty, and the familiar world is gone forever. Do we turn on each other in fear and suspicion, or do we band together to light a new candle in the darkness? What do you think? What skill do you have that would be valuable in this new world? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the apocalypse, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the what-ifs of our world. Until next time, stay curious and maybe keep a go bag ready, just in case.